My name's Abigail, and you're listening to Absolutely Me.
My gosh. Hello. Welcome to episode 25 of Absolutely Me. Did any of you think we were actually going to get here? Because I'll tell you, I didn't think we were ever going to get here. And honestly, I'm really proud of myself because it's been a long road. It's almost taken me 2 years to get here, which is really crazy to think about. I really feel like I've shared so much with you guys in the time that I've been recording these episodes. And I thought for my 25th episode that I would do something really special. And I was racking my brain on what to do. I was like, I could really talk about anything. I don't know what is super interesting and intriguing to you guys. And I just decided that I was going to share some 25 things you guys probably don't know about me. Since there's a lot of you who listen that I probably have never met in person or haven't talked to in a really long time. And this is also a special episode because it's going to be my first episode where you can watch the video while you watch the podcast on Spotify. And this will be the second video that I upload to YouTube, but hopefully it's going to be better quality than my last video. I'm still really trying to figure it out. Thank you for bearing with me. This episode's going to be interesting because I didn't realize that since I was going to be recording that I had to get ready and look semi presentable. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, all I did today was put on some mascara because I was like, I just have to get this over with and filmed or it's never gonna happen. And so yeah, I've got some mascara. I put some mascara on for you guys. I also am wearing some headphones because I didn't really want to do my hair. If any of you have these Sony headphones, if you're watching, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're just listening, it's just like the Sony new basic over the head headphones. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I can't figure out how to wear these without my hair looking ridiculous. Can you guys see my hair? How it looks all fluffy? I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. If anybody has any tips, pro tips, send them to me. DM me, text me, whatever. Send me some pro tips because I'm struggling. And this is just with my hair like straight. My hair is not straight naturally. Like my hair is curly naturally, not like super crazy curly. I have kind of just like Irish curls where it's really curly underneath and then it's less curly on top. But I don't wear my hair straight very often. And this looks better straight than when it's curly. So, anyways, send me your suggestions, please. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent. Also, if you're watching me too, you're gonna notice I'm gonna move around a lot. I can't help it. I'm sitting in meetings at work. I have to be swiveling my chair. I'm sorry, I'm gonna work on it. If it bugs you, I'm sorry. Just listen to me. Don't watch me. I don't know what else to tell you. Also, I gotta get used to looking into the camera. I'm just kind of like looking around the room. There's a lot of things we're gonna be fixing here. A lot of things we're gonna be getting used to. A lot of things you guys are gonna have to work with me on. But nevertheless, we're still in an exciting episode. This is still a milestone. Recording, putting it up on video, and learning some new things about me. So it's gonna be kind of exciting thing. I decided that I didn't know how to like break down these fun facts or these things for you guys. And 25 is kind of a lot. So I'm not really going to update you guys on a lot. And we're kind of just going to jump in to these like weird fun facts about me. But I broke it into 5 different categories. I did like quirks, embarrassing moments, hobbies and skills you guys didn't know I had, hot takes that I have, and some like wholesome dreams and aspirations that I've got. So I've got 5 things from each section. I'll share 25 things total with you guys about some things, random things about me, and I guess we'll just get into it. The first section that we have is personal quirks. And just like some habits, some routines, some different things that make me unique. I've been trying to think about, what are some weird things about me that you guys don't know or that a lot of people don't know. The first is something that a lot of people do know, if you're close to me especially. I am obsessed with penguins. Like, I love them so much. I have so many stuffed penguins. In fact, I just realized this little guy, this little stuffed penguin on my desk that my boyfriend got me from the aquarium when we went a few years ago to see the penguins, which is my favorite thing to do. And I I don't even know what got me originally obsessed with penguins, but when I was 15 years old, one of the best presents I've ever gotten, well, most of the best presents I've ever gotten have revolved around penguins. But when I was 15, I got a penguin basket, and it had like a stuffed animal penguin. It had like some little penguin cards. It had like all this stuff. And my mom told me later she had to like battle people for it at an auction. And I also had a cell phone, but it was my first cell phone that I got. It was like one of those little flip phones. But I was more excited about the penguin stuff than I was about the phone. And I had like a whole penguin shrine in my closet of all the penguin artifacts that I had collected. I have had multiple stuffed penguins over my lifetime. I have one that stays on my bed all the time now, and that I got from a grocery store near me. And I saw it at the grocery store. I thought it was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. I looked at it. I cried because I was so obsessed with it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to buy it. I don't need it. I don't need a penguin. I don't need another one. And then we were driving home and I was crying. I was crying because it was so cute. And then I decided I really did want it, but I didn't think I should have spent the money on it. And then my boyfriend turned the car around and was like, we're going to go buy it. And we got back, and luckily it was still there. And I was really excited, and I bought it. And now it lives on my bed. And then, yeah, I have this travel penguin that's been to a couple places with me. And his name is Carl. And I also, when I used to talk about penguins, I would cry when I would talk about them because I loved them so much. And I remember this one time I was at a like welcome dinner or breakfast. I can't remember what meal it was, but I was moving into a new singles ward, which, if you don't know what that is, it's like for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It is a congregation that's just based off of young adults. So I think it's 18 to 29-year-olds. And if you're in the area, it's just 18 to 29-year-old single people. And I was going over to the like leader of the congregation's house for like a welcome meal. And we were talking about things that we like. And I started talking about penguins and how I really wanted to go to see the penguins at the aquarium here in Utah. And you can like feed them. They have like a whole interactive thing that you can do with them where you can feed them, you can hold them. I guess not hold them. I wanted to really hold them, but you can feed them and you can like watch them walk around. And it's just a magical experience. And I really wanted to go. And I literally started crying thinking about it and talking about it because I was so passionate about it. And then I've since been gifted to go and meet the penguins in person. And it was one of the best birthdays I've ever had. It was so awesome. And I loved it. So yeah, penguins. I probably should skip through some of these a little quicker because we don't want to be here for 1,000 years, and we've only gotten through one of the 25 things. So I'll try and go a little faster here. The second thing that I have as a weird quirk is that in the wintertime, I like to sleep with the window open. Speaking of penguins, my boyfriend lovingly refers to me as a penguin, and my family and friends know that I am a penguin, in that I hate the heat. And I think if I ever had to live somewhere like Arizona, where it was like 115, 120 degrees outside in the summertime, I would literally die. I would perish. I would perish. And so in the wintertime, I like to sleep with the window open. And I also don't sleep with anything on. I haven't for a really long time. That's kind of a weird quirk about me too. But I want the room to be absolutely freezing cold, and then I just want to be cuddled up under my little blankets and just breathe in the fresh cold air. And nobody else really likes that. Everybody else kind of freezes to death when they have to sleep with me. And in the summer, I have to crank the AC down to like 65 to be able to sleep. I know. I'm a crazy person. Another weird quirk about me is I realized this yesterday. I went to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is my favorite fast food restaurant. I'm a little bit addicted. Sue me. I love Chick-fil-A. I'm sorry. But I realized that I have like a ritual when I eat my Chick-fil-A. When I get my Chick-fil-A order, I get nuggets and fries and a Dr. Pepper, obviously. And I lay them all out. I get my little French fries out. I set them down. I get my little nuggets out. I set them down. And then I flatten the bag down. I lay my fries on top of the bag so that they're like spilling onto the bag that's laying flat. And then I open up my Chick-fil-A nuggets and I put it to the left of the nuggets. And then I get 2 Chick-fil-A sauces. I get 2 honey mustard sauces. And I take the honey mustard, open one, take the Chick-fil-A sauce, open one, and then I stick the lids onto the open Chick-fil-A nugget like box. So it's on the lid on the inside, not where the nuggets are, but like where the little, if you open it, I like put it on the inside there. And I just do one at a time. I don't know why I don't open both at a time. I really should open both sauces at a time. But then I just do one sauce at a time and then I eat it. And then when it's done, I open the other sauce and I do the same thing with the lids. I stick them on. And then when all the nuggets are gone, I stack my little Chick-fil-A sauces. I put them inside of the chicken nugget box. And then I take the chicken nugget box and I put it inside the French fry box. And it fits perfectly. And then it's not spilling everywhere. And then I put that inside the Chick-fil-A bag. I reopen the bag that I flattened on the table. And I don't ever spill anything on the bag. I don't know why or how. And then I take that bag and I throw it all away. And I can stick my little drink in there too. And so, yeah, that's kind of weird. And I don't really know what to say about it other than that it's weird. And it's weird that I have a little ritual when I eat my Chick-fil-A. But it is what it is. Also, along the food spectrum, I really don't like leftovers. Leftovers just, for some reason, they kind of freak me out, and I don't know what it is about leftovers that makes me just so like, bleh. But it weirds me out to reheat food, and it's really hard for me to find stuff to eat that I like to reheat. Like meal prepping is really hard for me. I don't know what it is, you guys. Like it's probably part of the ADHD of me too, but like I will make food at the beginning of the week and then I won't eat it because I don't want to reheat it. And there's only a few things that I think are okay to reheat. Lasagna, because lasagna is always better reheated. And I like to reheat like curry or Asian food. But it really has to be with rice and like sauce and meat. Like I don't want to be reheating much other stuff. But I'm okay with reheating rice and curry type foods. And that's really it. Lasagna and that. And everything else, I really don't like leftovers. And I've had Tupperwares that I've just thrown out that had leftovers in them because I just didn't want to deal with the food. And I was like, I would literally rather throw this whole Tupperware away that I spent my own hard-earned money on than clean it out. And it's like making me feel nauseous even just talking about it. But I don't like it. And the last thing I would say that is something, I don't know, a little quirky about me, not that quirky, just like a random fact about me is I am not a morning person. If you know me at all, you know that I'm not a morning person. I've never been a morning person. Sorry to any mission companions out there that are listening, because I was probably not fun to deal with in the morning, and I know that I wasn't, and I'm still not. I'm working on it, but I'm still not great at it, and I would rather stay up late than wake up early to do a task. Like if I have a task that I have to do, I would rather stay up late and do it. Even if it's like, I don't know, whatever it is, I would rather stay up late and study for a test, write a paper. I'd rather stay up late and go to the gym than wake up early and go to the gym, even though I like working out in the mornings. Even though it feels good to work out in the mornings, and I like would rather pack for a trip late at night. I'd rather stay up and pack. I'd rather stay up and like wash my hair or like go and get gas at like 12:30 at night than wake up, leave my house 10 minutes early to get gas on my way to work. I sleep in more than I should. My family's full of sleepy people. We're all a little sleepy and we like to take naps. And I like to take naps and I don't like waking up super early in the morning. And when I do, I hate my life. But I know it's good for me. That's something I'm maybe going to try and work on this year. But I would rather stay up late than wake up early for anything. There's not much that I would get excited about to wake up early in the morning for. Maybe like, I don't know, a good brunch or good food. Food will get me out of bed early in the morning. If there's good food waiting for me or good food adventure to be had early in the morning, that's pretty much what will get me out of bed. So that's all for the quirks. Next section that we've got are some embarrassing moments. And I don't know what to say about the embarrassing moments other than I am really going out on a limb here and I'm really trusting you guys with these embarrassing moments because they're pretty embarrassing. And I don't really know why I'm sharing this with you guys other than I feel like for entertainment value, you guys are going to love it. But these are embarrassing. They're not just like floofy little like stupid stories. Like I'm telling you guys some embarrassing stuff. One of them, the last one I'll share with you guys, happened recently, like a month ago, recently, and was one of the most embarrassing things that has ever happened to me in my whole entire life. So this first embarrassing story was my most embarrassing moment for a long time. There was not anything that really topped this for like 10 years. And it's classic. It's classic story. It's classic misunderstanding. It's a good story and I'm excited to share it with you guys. It was when I was 14, I believe. So it's been, oh my gosh, has it been 14 years since this happened? Because I'm 28. Okay, I'm sorry. That just kind of rocked me a little bit. It was either when I was 14 or 15 that this happened. And I was on a camping trip with my like youth group. And it was for the same age girls. We were all either 14 or 15, I can't remember, from like our whole area. We were all going on a backpacking trip. And I really enjoy backpacking. It's been a long time since I've backpacked, but I really enjoy backpacking. And it's something that I have done like not a crazy amount, but I've done a few backpacking trips and I've really liked it. And on this particular backpacking trip, we really didn't go very crazy far. Like I can't remember even where we were or how far we were walking, but we had gone quite a while at that point and we got to the place where we were going to be camping for the night. And when we came in to this meadow that we were going to camp in, it was just a random spot. Like it wasn't like a normal like camping site. It was, if you've been backpacking, you know, you just kind of set up tents where you can fit them and where you find a good spot. And so we had walked around this trail and it had curved around this trail like half of a U shape. And then we like walked into the middle of this, like, if you imagine a circle and the trail kind of curved around the top of the circle, we like veered into the center of the circle, and that's where we set up our camp. I didn't realize that this is what had happened. That's the preface. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that that's where the trail was. We were in the woods. I was a little disoriented, and I really had to go to the bathroom, and I was also on my period, and so I had to like figure out what to do. I had to like change a tampon, and how terrible is that I was backpacking and I had to change a tampon. First of all, that's a really shitty situation. And second of all, luckily I was with a bunch of girls and they were all really nice about it, whatever. And the leaders who were there were really nice. And it was a bunch of girls that I just like knew from school in my neighborhood that we'd all been together for a really long time and had like kind of grown up together. And so we walked around to where these other trees were. And my friend Jessie, who shout out Jessie if you're listening, because we've been friends since we were children. She has been there for me for a long time. And I thought she was messing with me too. I like went over to go pee and she was like, Abby, I think there's somebody coming. And I thought she was messing with me. I had my back turned to like, she was standing in front of me. I was like looking at her, but I was like kind of behind a tree. And then my back behind me, she was like looking and she's like, Abby, there's somebody coming. And I was like, no, there's not. Mind you, I am mid squat peeing in the woods, trying to change my tampon. And my friend Jessie's like, no, Abby, there's like really somebody coming. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's just messing with me. And then I hear a voice, a male voice, like a older, like dad voice. He's like, no, there's really somebody here. And I was putting a tampon in and I shot it in so fast. I like stood up, turned around, bare butt, and there is this man and his son who is like 11 at the time. Old enough that they both saw my butt, both saw me fully squatting, trying to put a tampon in. And lo and behold, we had walked back up because we were disoriented about where the camping site was. We had walked back. We were peeing right on the side of the trail, but we didn't see it because it like the brush was like really thick and stuff. But we literally didn't see the trail. And this man and his son fully saw me peeing, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And the dad was like, "Don't worry. Like that's just what you do in the woods. That's just what it's for." And I was so embarrassed. My face is like bright red. All my friends that are there with me are just laughing so hard. And there's a couple people there. And if you're listening to this and if you remember this, please DM me because this was a terrible experience and I want to know if you remember it the way that I do. But yeah, that was my most embarrassing moment for a long time. And had an adult man and his random son, who is probably still scarred to this day, saw my bare booty squatting in the woods, going pee while I was camping. You're welcome for that story, by the way. Second story was, and I'll preface this by saying that my dad's side of the family makes fun of me for this to this day. And it was so long ago. Like, I don't even know how old I was. I wasn't even 12 yet, I don't think. I was young. Like, I was a kid. When I was a kid, we used to go over to my dad's parents' house every Christmas Day. We would like all of the families would open their presents at their own houses, and then all the cousins would bring your presents over. And usually we were all like hauling in these backpacks full of our presents to show all of our other cousins, and we would like set them up and like show everybody else. And we were going over to my grandparents, and one of my cousins had gotten a Zuzu pet for Christmas. And if you don't know what that is, it's a little like self-moving around little, it looks like a hamster. I don't know if they had other types of Zuzu pets other than hamsters, but you would kind of just like wind it up and then it would like roll around on whatever surface it was. It was like one of those bikes that you could just like crank and then it would just drive around by itself. And I was an idiot and I did that on like my shirt, and then I drove the Zuzu pet on my head, and it got my hair, like grabbed a bunch of my hair and like pulled it up into its little wheels. And there's a picture of this somewhere, and I will post this photo on Instagram. If you guys go and follow my Instagram, I'll post this photo when I drop this episode because I have a photo of the Zuzu pet in my head and it took so long to get it out. And I don't know if this is more of an embarrassing moment or if it's just a me being dumb moment. But yeah, my family still makes fun of me to this day. They bring it up constantly. And I don't think I'm ever going to live it down. I think they're going to bring that story up at my wedding and tell my children and bring it up in my funeral. I really don't think I'm ever getting over that. So that's pretty classic Abby story. The next one is a little more embarrassing because I was like with a boy and it was like an embarrassing thing with a boy and I was a freshman in college at Southern Utah University. I didn't kiss any boys in high school. I didn't kiss any boys until I was a senior or until I was a freshman in college. And I have good stories about my first kiss too, which I'll share another time. But this wasn't my first kiss, but it was like my second real kiss when I was in college and in life. Like it was my first or it was like my second time really kissing a boy. And my first kiss, I only kissed him once, and then things just kind of like fizzled out, whatever. But this kid, like had kissed a couple times, and uh, I was just young and naive, whatever, and I invited him to come over to my dorm to help me pack for Thanksgiving break to go back to my parents' house for the break. And he came over and we had kissed for the first time like like 2 days before that. And people had walked in on us when we were kissing. And it was his friends like and his roommates, and they like came in and told him they had to leave for an event for their fraternity. And then when he came over to my house, he was helping me pack. He wasn't really helping me pack. We were kissing it up. And then my best friend walked in on us while we were mid makeout sesh and just looked at us and kind of was like, and was like, Abby, we are leaving. Like our ride is downstairs. And she was driving home with us. And my hair was, I had full makeout hair. And she just was laughing at us and laughing at me. And I have not really lived that down either. The fact that two different sets of people walked in on us kissing the first and second time that we kissed, I can't believe that hasn't haunted me more than it has. But the first time was worse because it was his friends and guys I didn't really know very well. And the second time was my best friend Riley. And so it made it less embarrassing because I knew her, but still embarrassing. And yeah, it was like the first boy that I was like that I really had kind of been a little thing with, He turned out to be a piece of trash. I should do another episode about all the trash men that I've dated. Maybe that'll be another solo episode that I do because I think I've got some good stories for you guys. Got some real good stories, and it makes a lot of sense about looking back how I ended up with a trash husband, piece of garbage husband, because I had a lot of trash guys leading up to that. And now I'm in a great relationship, so I really broke that off. But so maybe one day I'll give you guys a solo episode where I talk about all the trash guys that I've dated and some good dating stories. But yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. Another one from when I was little, and I gotta tell you guys, I had kind of a hard time coming up with these stories too because I think I just blocked a lot of these out. I had to message my family and my friends and be like, hey, do you guys remember any stories? And so a lot of these came in from my family and friends that submitted it. Some of these came in from my own brain, but this next one was one that I have also been haunted by my family. They bring it up constantly, and I don't know, it is a little embarrassing because every time we talk about this story, I'm like, wow, I was really dumb. And sometimes these blonde moments still happen, and I have to really like restrain myself and think about how my life is silly sometimes and how sometimes I'm stupid and sometimes I miss things. And I've had people ask me if I'm a natural blonde for a really long time, even though, okay, I'm a smart person. I'm really smart. if you're just listening to this, I got up close to the camera to tell you that I'm actually really smart, but not in this moment. Okay. So I don't remember how it started or why it started, but my little sister liked to mess with us and just kind of like to stir the pot a little bit when she was little. And, as little sisters do. And she decided she was going to play telephone one night with all of us at dinner. And so we're sitting at dinner around the table and everybody starts playing telephone, and they said out loud, I'm pretty sure, that they were going to play telephone, or maybe it was covert. I don't remember a lot of the details, but my whole family starts whispering to each other, and maybe it wasn't even telephone. I don't know. It was some game where they were all whispering something about me and I didn't know what the heck they were saying. And then I realized that we were playing a game and I was really annoyed, and they all kept whispering to each other. They're whispering. And I got so frustrated, and finally I was like, why is no one telling me what's going on? Why is nobody telling me? And then they all were laughing at me because they're like, Abby, you're stupid. This is part of the game. And they still roast me. This doesn't probably sound as bad to you guys as it was for me in that moment, but it was bad. And they still make fun of me for it. And I've struggled with that reality that I was so dumb ever since. And there's been some other blonde moments, like I said, that were just silly and stupid, but that's not my best embarrassing story, but it was one that my family requested. So I wanted to share that. And my last story that I told you guys I would share, that I promised I would share, was not that long ago. And it has now topped my most embarrassing since peeing in front of that man and his child. My new most embarrassing story is passing out at the movie theater after seeing Wicked and having an ambulance come and have been taken out of the movie theater on a stretcher and to the emergency room after seeing Wicked. And this is quite a story, so just buckle up for a second because this is going to take a minute for me to tell you everything. And it is really embarrassing, and it really only happened, like I said, like a month ago. So you're really lucky that I'm willing to be this vulnerable on this podcast and just tell you all the stupid, embarrassing things that have happened to me out of pure desperation to get you to listen to this podcast, because I'm so embarrassed. Before I tell this, I'm going to take a little drinky drink, give you a little ASMR. You're welcome. I'm not really used to talking for this long. My voice is kind of going out. I've only been talking for 30 minutes. And my voice just is not liking it. That's kind of sad that I just stay quiet for so long during the day now, that when I talk for more than 30 minutes at a time, my voice goes away, but that's fine. Sorry. That was probably a lot of information you guys didn't need either. So I'm also sorry about that too. I'm kind of a mess on this podcast. Can you guys tell? Can you tell that I'm a mess? Is that okay? Are you still going to listen to me even if I'm a mess? I hope so, because I want you to be here and I love you. Anyways, can you tell I'm feeling awkward now too about sharing this story? I'm trying to avoid sharing it at all costs. So, to preface something you should know about me, I don't like taking vitamins. That was probably surprising of me to say, because you're probably like, what do vitamins have to do with you passing out in a movie theater? I'll tell you what it has to do with. I, for some reason, have passed out, thrown up, whatever, when I've taken multivitamins or other pills in the past. They just don't sit well with me and my stomach. And even when I've eaten a lot of food, I take them. I've had issues with vitamins and stuff, okay? But I'm trying to be better at taking my vitamins, and my boyfriend is great, and he has a whole stash of vitamins. He's like trying to vitamin me up, healthy me up, whatever. And he gave me some vitamins to take before we drove to see Wicked with my friends. I took them on a fairly empty stomach, which was my first mistake. The second mistake was going to Chipotle. And we went to Chipotle. And now that I'm saying this out loud, this is probably karma for what I've done a lot in the past, which is smuggling food into a movie theater. And mine and my boyfriend's plan was we were going to pick up Chipotle and we were going to take it to the movie theater because we had both had a really, really busy day. It was on a Wednesday. We had to drive like over an hour in traffic to be with my friends to see Wicked, and we had bought tickets. Like, we were really excited to go. We really wanted to go, but it was just a crazy day and leading up to going to Wicked. So we're like, okay, let's just grab the Chipotle from right next to the movie theater. There was not really food at the movie theater that we wanted to eat. That was like, we needed a real meal and not just like snacks. So we're like, okay, we're going to smuggle this Chipotle in. We get into the movie theater. And also, another thing to preface this as well is I have a medical cannabis card in Utah to help with my PTSD and with migraines and with anxiety. And I had taken a gummy. I wasn't driving, don't worry. I had taken an edible, and I that's something I've not really talked about on here. That I do that. We'll talk about that on another episode too. I'm just throwing all these facts at you guys today. See, I told you this was a special episode. I'm being vulnerable. I'm being raw. I'm giving you guys all this stuff. But yeah, so I was high after eating this edible because I'd been really anxious and was feeling super nauseous and just wasn't feeling great. So I took this edible. My boyfriend drove us up. We got the Chipotle. We get into the movie theater. We're sat down. We had successfully smuggled our Chipotle into the movie theater. We sit down. I pull out my little bowl. Oh, I had gotten a quesadilla, and I'd like shoved the bag in my blanket. We'd carried the blanket inside. I got my little quesadilla out. I had my little 3 toppings. I had my little knife and fork. I had my napkins all nicely set out. I had my little drink, my water bottle all nicely set out. I had brought in a blanket inside so I could sit back and I could enjoy Wicked. And we're like starting to eat our food as the movie is starting. And both of us turn to each other and we're like, this is like really good Chipotle. This is really good Chipotle. It was super salty and it just tasted different than Chipotle normally tastes. Like, if you're a Chipotle goer, Chipotle has like a distinct, delicious taste. They like put the seasonings on in a specific way and it always tastes the same. But for some reason, this tasted like extra salty, and the chicken and the like with the like the sour cream and the pico that I had that I was dipping it in, it was extra good. And I was also, like I previously mentioned, had taken an edible, so I was also a little high. And I'm watching Wicked, and both of us are like, wow, this tastes really good. Halfway through the movie, my stomach starts hurting so bad. And I had like nausea because of the medicine that I had taken, and because of some other medicine that was making me feel really gross, and the vitamins that I had taken on a empty stomach that made me feel not good. And then I had the Chipotle that was making my stomach hurt so bad. But I didn't want to leave the movie theater to go to the bathroom because I really wanted to watch the movie. I'm obsessed with Wicked. I'm like a diehard musical theater girl. I was super excited to be there. I've loved Wicked for forever. Me and my cousin Maddie used to act out the entire Wicked soundtrack. We would listen to it in my room at my old house. I had the part of Elphaba and my cousin was Glenda, and we acted out the entire thing. I'm obsessed with Wicked, so I didn't want to leave the movie theater, which was my first mistake. Well, not my first, my like 5th mistake. I stayed till the end. I thought Wicked was amazing, and then we left the movie theater and we were just sitting around chatting with my friends in a little circle, and I was feeling great. I was feeling fine. And all of a sudden I felt like I was going to throw up or pass out or shit myself or all of the above. And I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. So I just kind of ran away into the bathroom. And then I ended up passing out on the toilet. I was sitting on the toilet and I passed out and I woke up on the floor. I hit my head on the floor or the wall or I don't really know what I hit my head on, but it hurt really bad. And I was like crouched, like I was like in a fetal position and my pants were down because I had been sitting on the toilet. So my bare butt is just out for all to see. Anybody could have seen it because just like the way I was laying down, I was like halfway into the other stall. Luckily, there was nobody else in the bathroom, but I completely passed out. I woke up. I felt so sick. And I just remember being like, oh, I have to get out to where Mitch, my boyfriend, is and where my friends are. My best friend was out there. All of my really close friends were out there. Mitch was out there. I was in the girls' bathroom. I was like, they're not going to be able to help me. And I felt so gross. I walked out. I was like shaking. I was super clammy. I was like having hot flashes. It was really bad. And I go out and I told my boyfriend, I was like, I just passed out in the bathroom. And he was like, what? And he didn't really hear me. And I sat down in this chair and I just like put my head on the table. And it happened so fast that I was like standing there talking to my friends totally fine. And then I sprinted into the bathroom and I came out, I don't know how long later. They said I was in there for like crazy long. I was probably in there for like 5 minutes. And then I come back out and I was just like totally down bad. So they all were like, what is going on? And then I told them that I had passed out and that my stomach hurt because it did because of the freaking Chipotle. And then I passed out again a second time. And passing out kind of runs in my family, which is unfortunate for us. And when you get to a certain level of pain in my family, you pass out. I personally have a really high pain tolerance. I feel like my family, we have like a pretty high pain tolerance, except for maybe my brother, who passes out a lot. We call him a fainting goat because he's passed out so many times. But we have all kind of passed out before, and I've passed out quite a lot in my life. So to me, it wasn't like a huge deal. And I've passed out the same way as my other family does, where we look like we're full on having a seizure, where like from what my friends said and what my family said about what I've done in the past, I fully stiffened up like straight. I was sitting in a chair and I like rolled backwards and I just like went stick straight and was like convulsing and like not breathing very good, and was going on for like 30 seconds to a minute, where they thought I was full on having a seizure because none of them had seen me pass out before. They thought I was full on having a seizure. They call 911. By the time I'm coming back out of it, they're already on the phone with 911. They're like, we think she's having a seizure. They call my parents. My parents come because we were at the movie theater like 5 minutes from their house. So my parents come. There's a whole like bunch of people. The ambulance comes. They bring in a full stretcher, and like four paramedics come in. They're all standing around me. We're like getting ready to leave the movie theater, and I'm fully sitting on this stretcher talking to these paramedics, like still kind of coming out of it. They tested a bunch of stuff, like they tested my blood sugar, they tested my blood pressure, they pricked my finger, which I was not happy about, and then they were like checking all my vitals, whatever, making sure that I was okay. And my heart was beating really fast, obviously, and my blood pressure was really low because I'd passed out. And I told them that my stomach hurt, which it did. And then they were like, oh, well, that could be anything. And I was trying to say, like, no, I think it, like, I didn't know how to say, like, oh, my stomach hurts because I ate bad Chipotle and I felt like I was gonna, like, explode out of my booty hole. I didn't really know how to tell them that. And I was still, like, pretty out of it. And we were still trying to figure out what was up. And then I had to be taken out of the movie theater on a stretcher, taken to the ambulance, loaded up on the ambulance. I also have photos of this embarrassing moment that I can post for you guys if you're really nice to me. And then I had to get taken to the ER. In the ambulance ride, they tried sticking me 6 times. Or no, they tried 3 times in the ambulance to get an IV in me, and they couldn't do it. They did it in both arms and a hand, and they were trying my second hand right when we pulled up to the ER. We get into the ER. Apparently, it was a slow night in the ER because every single nurse and doctor was like waiting for me as I came in the front door, and they're asking me what movie I had seen because they obviously had heard that I was coming from the movie theater, and they're like, "Oh, what movie were you seeing?" And I told them I was seeing Wicked, and they were like, "Oh, we were having bets on like what movie it was you were seeing. We thought it might be Wicked." So I was like, "Okay, great." Not only did I just have to get wheeled out of a movie theater on a stretcher, but also all the ER nurses and doctors and paramedics are like joking about how I had just come from the movie theater and what we're taking bets on what movie I had seen. So that was super embarrassing. And then by the time I had gone to the ER, I felt much better. And like I ended up leaving pretty soon after that. I still haven't gotten the bill for the ambulance ride. I'm a little terrified of paying for that. So if you want to like sponsor Abby's ambulance ride of 2024, let me know. But yeah, that was my most recent embarrassing story for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed those embarrassing stories. Like I said, I am only doing this because I trust you guys, and I am hoping you'll keep this to yourselves. Keep this a secret. Don't keep talking to me about it. Or I guess you can, but like, cut me a little slack, okay? I'm just a girl trying to make her way through the world, trying to smuggle Chipotle in to watch Wicked, okay? This is turning out to be quite the episode because we're only 2 out of the 3 sections in. So let's move on to our next section, which is hobbies, hidden talents, things you don't know much about me that I haven't really talked about before. Some random skills that I have, some random things that make me who I am and make me cooler than you, probably. But my first one is that I am really good at organizing. I'm really good at systemizing things, and I love a good planner. I'm a really good planner. I have everything. You guys should see my Google Drive. Like, I am so weird about it. I like to organize things, and for a while I like wanted to open an organization business where I would organize other people's closets. PS, I will do it for you guys for free. I'll do it for free. If you want me to organize something, hit me up. I will do it. I will do it happily. I follow like cleaning people, organization people on Instagram and on all the platforms I ever am on. I love a good organizing video. I love a good cleaning video. I just am obsessed with organizing. One time my parents had me, well, I shouldn't say they had me. They consented to let me organize their kitchen while they were out of town for a week with their friends at Lake Powell in Utah. And they came back, and I had completely rearranged the entire kitchen, and I had spent $900 at the Container Store on organization things. So yeah, hit me up if you want me to organize something, but like don't be mad if it costs a lot of money. But yeah, I'm really good at organizing. I really love politics. I'm a super nerd about it. When I was in high school, I did debate, and I think I've talked about that before on my podcast. Sorry to my Aunt Michelle, who was my debate coach. I didn't apply myself the way that I could have. Looking back now, I realize, but I enjoyed it, and I learned a lot, and I had really fun time doing debate. I did it my sophomore and my senior year. I never won anything. I never like made it to a competition or anything, but I never won any awards, but I really liked it. And also my favorite show of all time is The West Wing. And I ended up watching it because I used to babysit for this family growing up, and they were like, they had their kids on a pretty tight schedule, which was nice for me as a babysitter because they knew their routine. I would just go over, and I would go over like every couple of weeks when they needed me. And they had, I think, other babysitters in rotation. So I wasn't there every week, but I was there a lot, and I was their kids' favorite. So they would ask me to come over a lot. And they were pretty conservative with like what they would let their kids watch and do. And so they didn't have any streaming. Well, there wasn't even streaming back then, but they didn't have cable, and they didn't have any sort of like movies or anything in the house. Like they didn't have any real Disney movies. They really didn't have anything. And I babysat them when I was like 11, and I would get over there and the kids would be awake. It would be like 5 o'clock that I would get there. We would hang out for an hour or two. We would like eat dinner, and we had the same dinner every time I went over there, which they loved. And I would play with them for a little while. We would do their bedtime routine, and then they were in bed by like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And it was awesome. And they were so well behaved. Like they were so well behaved. They were so easy to take care of. But then I was left for a couple hours with nothing to do. And I would like bring books and bring homework or whatever, but I wanted something like on the TV to watch. And the only thing that they had in their house was West Wing, and they had all the seasons on DVD. And I started watching that show from the beginning as an 11-year-old. And if you've ever seen The West Wing, it's very dialogue heavy. Like it's all about politics. It's about the president and his personal staff. They recorded it, I think, the first episode in like 1998 or 1999. And it's been around for a while. They just had their like 25th anniversary. So it would have been in 1999 because they just had their 25th anniversary not that long ago. And so I watched this whole series, and it made me like obsessed about politics. And I formed a lot of my political views, like my base for what I believed in from that show, and also from doing debate. It really informed a lot of my opinions. And now I am still obsessed with politics. I double majored at first in college in political science and communications. My plan originally when I got to school was I was going to do, they have a program at Southern Utah University when I was there, that you could double major in political science and communications. And they have a really good political science program down there. If anybody's interested in like looking into that, they had at least when I was there, it was a really good program. And you could double major in political science and communications, and in 5 years you would get your bachelor's degree and your master's degree in like strategic communications. I was going to do that, and then I was going to go to law school, and I wanted to work on campaigns. I wanted to like work in political science. I wanted to move to DC and work on political campaigns. I wanted to like run political campaigns. I wanted to be a communications director and write speeches at the White House. Like I wanted to be Sam Seaborn, and like since I was little. And if you've seen the show, you know who Sam Seaborn is. Rob Lowe is who plays him. But I wanted to do that. Like I was really ambitious, and then I ended up going on a mission for my church, and I lived in 18 months in DC, and that was where my mission was in technically I was in Virginia. Our mission was called the DC South mission, but everybody that lived there worked in DC, worked at the Pentagon, was, in the military, did something, worked on the Capitol, worked in the attorney's office, whatever, everybody there. And I met a lot of people, and I realized that while it was really cool, I probably didn't want that life because they were literally never home. Nobody was ever home, and nobody ever like wanted to really talk to us because they had such high demand jobs that they didn't really want to talk to us, and were never home. And so then I came home, and I have had a whole thing since with my degree and whatever, but I really was obsessed with politics, and I have made a political like slideshow presentation for my family and friends for the last two elections, and where I've just presented the candidates, told them who's running, what's going on, and then also go through like their stances on certain topics. And this last time that I did it for this last election, I think we were there, the people I presented it to, it was just like my family and friends. I think we were there for like 3.5 hours talking about topics and talking about things. And I put together so many documents. It's kind of insane how I put together, I don't know, 25 different documents, different resources for them, for the people I presented it to. I made 100 slideshow on the candidates, on their voting record, on issues that my family and friends wanted to talk about, like the candidate stances. And like I said, I did that for 3 hours where I just talked and talked and talked. And I did it happily and gladly, and it gave me a reason to get out of bed in the mornings when I was creating it. So it was worth it. And it was really fun. And I'll do it again probably for the next election. I've done it the last 2 elections. I'll probably do it the next election if things haven't completely fallen apart by then. So yeah, I'm addicted to politics and I love it. And I love knowing about politics. I love watching political shows. I've watched West Wing a million times. I know it's not real, but I know it's not real politics, but I just love it. And yeah, so that's a fun fact about me. Some of you may know, some of you may not. I also have put together a spreadsheet because I also like spreadsheets. That's like a weird, quirky thing about me is with the organization thing, but I love a spreadsheet, and I created a spreadsheet that has, I think, like 200 political views, different topics ranging from like foreign policy, domestic policy, social things. We talk about finance, education, like elections, FEC, just like a whole broad range of topics. And I have taken what the Republican and what the Democratic views are on those topics, and I've documented them. And I also polled this last time that I updated it. I created this spreadsheet like 6 years ago, I think, and I've used it the last 2 elections to help me like inform my vote or whatever. But I put the Democratic National Convention's platform that they voted on from this last year, and also the Republican National Convention's whole platform that they voted on this last year. And I put it through ChatGPT, and I was like, okay, tell me what they say about like all these topics. And I like linked all that. Anyways, and I do that for fun. I haven't really shared that with anybody until recently. Like I just do it for fun. And because I'm a crazy person. Yeah, I love elections. I love politics. I'm such a nerd about it, and I really have to distance myself from talking about it sometimes. Cuz I've gotten better at talking about it. I used to be super emotional talking about it, but I've dialed it back since. My next weird hobby and skill, weird factoid about me, is that when I was in junior high school, I won 3rd place in a singing competition with my whole school. I got 3rd place in it was called CJH Idol, which was Centerville Junior High Idol. And I won 3rd place. I won money. I think I won like $50, and I had to sing in front of the whole school a bunch of times. And my mom has it on video. When I was singing on my little piano, I sang Someone Like You by Adele and played it on the piano. And it's so weird to think about how bold I used to be. I can't believe I did that. It's crazy. But yeah, that's a weird hobby and skill. I love singing. Like I did choir for a long time. And I'm not the like greatest singer in the entire world by any means. Like I'm not trying to be an artist, but like I enjoyed musical theater. I enjoyed choir, and I enjoyed singing, and I have been in choirs like post high school too that I've really enjoyed, and I'm thinking about joining a choir now just for fun. So yeah, weird hobby, weird skill you guys didn't really know about. So the next random skill that I have is that I'm good at waxing eyebrows, and I used to wax my friend's eyebrows when I was in college. And shout out to my Aunt Angeline. She originally taught me how to wax eyebrows. She would wax my eyebrows growing up. And then when I went to college, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm so hairy. I'm such a hairy person. How am I going to deal with my eyebrows? And so she taught me how to do it. And I had a waxing pot and I had all the tools. And I was not licensed. So don't come at me. I wasn't licensed, but I would wax my eyebrows and my lip and my face and do all the things. And I have so many pictures of me waxing myself just with wax on my face, or somebody in my family pulling wax off my lip. And they're all pretty funny. And I used to do my guy friends' eyebrows too. And I had a little side hustle in college. So I would charge people. I probably should have charged people more, but I would charge people like $5 a wax. So I would just like set up at a friend's house with my waxing pot, and then like all my friends would come through. And I eventually got my guy friends to start letting me wax their eyebrows too at one point. And they were all really skeptical, but I did one guy's eyebrows, and then so many of them were like, oh, I want that too, because they looked pretty good. And don't look too closely at my eyebrows right now because I need to get them threaded again. But yeah, now I still have somebody else do it. I just get them threaded. But yeah, I'm pretty good at waxing. And I did it for a long time. I still have my waxing pot. I could wax myself still if I wanted to. I'm just lazy and prefer somebody else to do it in 5 minutes. And then my last skill or hobby that I have is, oh, this is funny. They're both kind of self-care, skincare related stuff, but I am really passionate about taking care of my hair. I have, if you're watching this video, you can see how long it's getting. I have been working on my hair for a long time, and I'm pretty passionate about using really high quality product. And I have I'm washing my hair tomorrow. I'm going to do this whole wash hair routine tonight where I have like a pre-wash routine. I have while I'm showering hair wash routine, and I have a post-shower hair routine that I'm very passionate about. And I do every time I take a shower, every time I wash my hair. If you guys want to hear about my hair wash routine, let me know. Maybe I'll make a video about it, post it somewhere. But yeah, I'm really passionate about it. I pay a lot of money to get haircuts because I like good haircuts and I like taking care of my hair. And again, I'm going in for a haircut soon, so don't look too closely at my hair. But I really I like watching hair videos. I like taking care of my hair. I like buying really fancy products to put in my hair. I spend more time and attention on my hair than I do anything else. Like any other self-care stuff. I'm really obsessed with my hair. I take better care of my hair than I do of my skin. I'm just obsessed with hair care, and it's really random. I don't know what got me into it, but I just really like it, and I have always really liked taking care of my hair, and it's kind of fun. Yeah, hopefully that didn't sound weird. I feel like I'm feeling a little weird about sharing that fact with you guys, but oh well, we're just gonna keep trucking along. So our next section we're gonna talk about is my hottest hot takes, and I have some bold and spicy opinions, but they're mostly light opinions, and I don't want to hear your guys' opinions on these because I'm right. There's no debate about this. Okay, I am right. Give you some more ASMR. Not only am I right, but I'm lazy because I do not want to edit this video any more than I have to. So we're just trucking on through. But for our hottest hot takes, the first one is that I don't like the show The Office. And I don't even think that this is that hot of a take because the show is not that good. And I have tried to watch it. I didn't watch it for a long time as a matter of principle because where I lived in Provo, Utah, people liking The Office was their entire personality. And I am an extremely defiant personality. So I didn't want to do something just because everybody else was doing it. And so I started not watching The Office because of that. But I've watched it since, and it's just not good. It's not funny. It's not funny in a smart way. at all. Like, it's just dumb funny, and that's probably why people like it. But I don't think the characters are good. I don't like Jim and Pam. I think there's a lot way better shows than The Office. And yeah, I would choose just about any other sitcom before The Office to watch. I just really don't like it. That's also in other sitcoms, like I think Parks and Rec is better than The Office, but I think Arrested Development is better than everything. I think New Girl is better than The Office, but I think Parks and Rec is better than New Girl. And then I think Arrested Development is the best sitcom of all. And then there's other things I have in the hierarchy there, but that kind of gives you an idea of how I rank things. And yeah, The Office down here, Arrested Development up here. That is incredibly smart and incredibly funny. Not the new season that Netflix did, but the seasons before that are so funny and so smart and so witty. And just characters in other shows, like in Parks and Rec, I think are so much more relatable and so much more funny and so much wittier and so much easier to relate to. And I just don't like The Office because it's dumb. And I don't like the dumb. I don't like dumb humor when it's not good dumb humor, like in Step Brothers. That's good dumb humor. Office, no. I'm allergic to avocados, but I just really, even if I wasn't allergic to avocados, I wouldn't eat them. I don't like them. I think they're gross. I don't like guacamole, really. I don't like avocado toast. I think you guys are all lying to yourself about how avocado tastes. But luckily, I don't ever really have to share that opinion because I just tell them I'm allergic, which is true. But I also just don't like them. I'm afraid that one's going to get more people hating on me than me saying that I don't like The Office, is that I don't like avocados. But another hot take that I have is Christmas. I don't think Christmas is the best. I don't even think it's in the top 5 best holidays. I am a little biased because my birthday is 5 days after Christmas, and I've had lots and lots of years of people combining birthday and Christmas presents and nobody wanting to do anything for my birthday because it's the day before New Year's Eve and having to throw New Year's Eve birthday parties even though I didn't want to. And even though it just felt like a New Year's Eve party and not like a birthday party and people just forgetting about my birthday, I've had to deal with that for a long time. And so Christmas is I'm already a little jaded on Christmas because of that. But I just think there's better holidays that don't cause as much stress, are more magical than Christmas. I think Christmas has just become so commercialized and there's so much pressure on Christmas that it just never feels like you're doing it right and it never feels like you're doing it enough. And if I don't do enough like Christmassy, wintry activities, I feel like a terrible person because I didn't like do maximize Christmas as much as I can. I don't like Christmas music very much. From working in retail and doing choir, I've just dealt with a lot of Christmas music and I don't like it. And I will turn off. I don't even think I listened to 20 minutes of Christmas music this year. I don't even think my whole listening time added up to 20 minutes because I just don't like Christmas music that much. And I think there's better holidays where it's easier to get together with your family. Like Thanksgiving is a great holiday because the only expectation is that you do nothing, that you eat good food, you hang out with your family, you take a nap, you go to bed early because you're tired and you're full and you're happy and you're fat. I love the 4th of July. I love the 4th of July. Going back to how I'm also obsessed with politics, I have cried multiple times on the 4th of July, watching fireworks, listening to and there ain't no doubt I love this land, listening to that and watching fireworks and just crying and listening to bagpipes and watching parades. The first 4th of July that me and my boyfriend were dating, I had an insane plan that I wanted to wake up at like 5 a.m. on the 4th of July. I wanted to go paddleboarding when the sun was coming up. And then I wanted to go to a parade, be at a parade an hour and a half away from where we were going to go paddleboarding at 8 a.m. and then do a whole entire day of 4th of July activities. Needless to say, I cried because my paddleboard didn't work. I felt like I was letting down the 4th of July and I wasn't patriotic enough and I cried. That was like 2 years ago. So there's just better holidays out there, okay? This next one I think might get some hate for it too, but I think that Android phones are better than iPhones. And I've thought this since I went on a mission and I had an Android phone and I could do so many things on it that I couldn't do on an iPhone. I got home, I bought my own Android for myself. I got on my own plan. I bought myself an Android because I liked it so much. And then I got kicked out of family group chats. And now I'm back on the iPhone game because everyone in my life has an iPhone and it's just a freaking cult and I have to be a part of it and they won't let me in any group chats if they don't have an iPhone. So I just think Android's better and it's more user friendly and there's more things that you can do and all these things that are coming out on iPhones now. I'm like, I could do that on my Android 5 years ago when I had it, but it's fine. And then my last hot take, I think going to a pool is better than going to a beach. And I don't like going to the beach. And I feel like the same people who are going to get upset with me not liking avocados are going to get upset at me about this too, but I just really don't like beaches. I don't like sand. I don't like it getting in my little tootsies. I don't like feeling it. I get sensory overload if my hands are not lotioned up at all times. If my hands feel even a little bit dry or my feet feel a little bit dry, I literally go catatonic and I have to have like moisturized hands at all times or I feel like I'm going to throw up. And so I don't like going to the beach because I get sand, I get all shriveled up. I can't like be lotioned up and there's just a lot of things going. Like when I get out of a pool, I'm fine if I'm in the pool or I'm in the water, but if I'm just hanging out and I'm not like in the water, which I would rather be in the water than like being on the beach or sitting by the pool, I'd rather be in a pool or in the ocean. But if I'm not doing that and I'm just hanging out, I would much rather just be next to the pool than be on the beach because at least at the pool I can get dried off, I can put lotion on, I can be happy camper, I can jump back in the water and get out and jump in and get out. I don't have to do a whole like rinse off, do the whole dance with my feet, getting my feet like wet so I could put my shoes on and not get sand all over. I just hate it. I hate the sand. If there was not sand on the beach, I would go. But that's what a beach is. So I go to the pool. A pool is a beach with no sand. So I like going to the pool. And when we were in Mexico for Christmas with our family this last Christmas, I was advocating to be by the pool as much as possible. And I went to the beach a few times, but I spent more time by the pool. And sadly, we have come to our final section of the day with me telling you all the things that I don't like. I thought we would end on a more positive vibe. And this is going to be talking about my dreams and aspirations. Some things are from the past, some things are from the current, some things are things that I want maybe eventually to start thinking about, if you know what I'm saying. But just to end on a more heartfelt note, I just wanted to share some of these things with you guys. Some of them are like, bucket list things. Some of them are like goals that I had that I was a little exaggerated on, and some of them are like real goals that I have now. So the first thing is that when I was younger, and this is kind of cute. I got to work on thinking this is cute and not as embarrassing about little me, but in my bathroom at my family's old house, I had my own bathroom downstairs where it was like kind of the guest bathroom, but it was next to my bedroom and I was the only one down there, and it only had a bath or it didn't have a shower in it. It had the laundry in it, and then it had a toilet and a sink. But on the mirror above the sink, I had like a goals list that I had written down. And I can't remember some of the other things, but they were like outrageous. And one of the things that I put on there was literally to go to Mars, be an astronaut and go to Mars. And the fact that I used to think that I was cool enough that I would become an astronaut and that I could become an astronaut, I got to get some of that energy back, because I was a big dreamer baby and I put that on there and I was semi-serious about it. Like, and I wanted to do that. And I really just dreamed really big as a kid. Another one that I wanted to share from my childhood that my family will laugh at is that my goal for a really long time, till I was like, I don't know, 15, 13, 14, when I started watching West Wing and decided I actually want to do politics and not this current plan. This was I had 2 life plans that were really solid that I abandoned, and I'm in this current life stage of life where I have no life plan and I'm trying to figure it out. So it's funny that, like, as a child I was such a dreamer and I was so determined on what I was going to do that I believed I was going to go to Mars. And then my second goal that I had, my plan, was that in high school I was going to work at Dairy Queen, because that was the most glamorous place I could ever think to work, was at Dairy Queen up the street from my house. Then I was going to go to college and become a marine biologist. Then I was going to move to Texas. I was going to marry a cowboy. And then I was going to take that cowboy with me to California, and I was going to work at SeaWorld as a dolphin trainer and be a marine biologist. And I was convinced, I was like, that's my life plan. I was so determined. You can ask anybody in my family and my friend, like, they knew that that's what I wanted to do. And that was my plan for like 11 years. I wanted to be a marine biologist. I didn't ever want to be anything else. And then, like I said, I watched West Wing and was like, well, this is way cooler than being, I don't want to marry a cowboy. I want to marry a politician. And so, yeah, just silly. But that was a big goal of mine, was to live in Texas and marry a cowboy. And my mom always used to say, like, you know, isn't your cowboy going to be sad that you're like, he's not going to be able to be a cowboy anymore if you live close to SeaWorld where you're going to work? And I was like, no, he'll be fine. He doesn't need to still be a cowboy. I just want to marry a cowboy and then he can just come live in Southern California with me. Like, it's going to be fine, Mom. And she was like, okay, whatever. Another dream that I've had that I still would love to do is to either, like, I feel like I could do both of these things, but one or the other, is living in a van. And I know that's so cliche. Everybody wants to like live in a van, but for a while I was really serious about it. And like, me and my friend were making plans and it didn't work out. And I like have a whole van Pinterest board where I planned out like a whole van build. So either I would want to, and I made a presentation for my boyfriend on why we should quit our jobs and go live in a van. But I would either want to do that, live in a van, or I want to like move somewhere out of the country or out of Utah for a couple of years, like 2 years, maybe 3, and then come back and live here forever by my family and friends. But I just want to do that for a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of something I would like to do and is still kind of, you know, could happen, could not happen. If I go and live in a van, you guys can come along for sure. And if I go live in another country, you guys could definitely come along. But we'll see how that turns out. I don't really have a lot of confidence in that happening without me putting some serious work into it. But that's something that I would like to do. I would love to like live in Europe for a year or 2. I've never been to Europe, but I would like to live there, or go live in like Bali for a year or 2 in Indonesia. And yeah, I just think it would be really fun. Sorry, I feel like I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm getting towards the end of the episode. I've been talking for a long time. My brain is starting to like wander off, but I'll keep going. So the fourth kind of goal that I have, something that I'm thinking about now, is to really learn how to take care of myself really well. And with health and wellness, I'm really trying to dial that in more. My boyfriend set up a cold plunger, and I'm not like crazy with it in our backyard, but I've done it like a few times in the last week, and I really have liked it. And I'm trying to become a morning person, even though I hate the mornings. I'm really wanting to become a morning person, and I just really want to like get some a better handle on health and wellness. And I've been doing a lot of things this last year also to like get on that train, and it's something I'm thinking a lot about, and it's something that I'm probably want to talk a lot about on here, because I don't like talking about things while I'm going through them. I like to talk about them when I'm done with them. So maybe I'll talk to you guys about it later, but that's something that's on my mind. And the last thing that's on my mind is I'm trying to get also my finances like locked in. And me and my boyfriend are planning, for our future, thinking about, okay, when do we want to be able to get a house? Like, when do we want to be able to do all these things, and how are we going to get there? And just making a lot of plans for the future, and thinking about kind of our timeline for things, and thinking about finances, and being an adult is so fun, and you have to think about all those things, and my 401k and my Roth IRA and savings and high interest savings account and Fidelity and blah, 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 all that boring stuff. But I decided that I was going to start doing cash envelope budgeting system, and I put a lot of time and effort into my cash budgeting system, and I have like folders labeled ready to start this. I'm starting it like at the start of my next paycheck, and so I'm excited about that. And just really thinking about the future, I'm really excited for these next few years. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of change that's really good and positive, and I'm just thinking about what I want to do with my life and figuring out like what direction I want to go. And there's a lot of opportunity. And I was talking about this with my therapist today in therapy, about how there's so many opportunities for me, and that it's really great that I can just dial in at this time and figure out what I really want to be doing and what direction I want to go in. And I'm excited that this podcast is a part of my kind of plan moving forward, and that it's just really fun for me to do. It's very lethargic for me. Like, it feels like I've gone to therapy. It feels like I'm journaling pretty much, which is very, very lethargic for me. It helps me so much. And so even if not a single person listens to this episode, I have had a really fun time talking to you. 25 episodes it's crazy that I've done 25 episodes. I don't even know how I got here. Thank you to everyone who's come on the podcast so far. I'm excited to keep having more guests and do more interviews. You guys really seem to like those. I would really love to hear more about what you guys want to hear about. I get, really good DMs from people. I've gotten a lot of answers before on social media. Please message me. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you want to talk about. I have plans for things I want to talk about, but I just really want to know what you guys would like to hear about. I am really grateful for just the people who have helped to make this happen, and that includes all of you guys watching. I am excited for the next 25 episodes. I think there's going to be a lot of changes. It's exciting that this is the first episode that's going to be on. You're going to be able to watch me as you listen to me, and that's pretty intimidating. I won't lie. And I'm still figuring things out. I just realized that there's been a reflection behind me in this picture this whole time, and that's going to now bug me, but I'm not going to re-record this entire episode. And I'm still figuring things out, and I appreciate you guys coming along with me on this journey. And don't forget to follow my Instagram. It's Absolutely Me Podcast on Instagram. And I'm on YouTube now. And you can find me wherever you listen to your guys' podcast. So share this with friends. Go follow me on Instagram, DM me, share, leave a review, and I will talk to you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Absolutely Me. Thank you to everyone who helped make this possible. Shout out to Tanner Johnson for the amazing intro. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, tell all your friends. And we'll be back next Friday with another episode. Love you. Bye.